Hello and good morning, friends. Today, I want to talk to you about garbage disposals and septic tanks. This is an area of conversation that I get asked a lot about. And the reason why is that a lot of people are kind of concerned about garbage disposals and septic tanks because a lot of people always say you should never have a garbage disposal on a septic tank. And I want to tell you why that's not always the case. So let's get into it. The main concern with these garbage disposals is the amount of solids that are going to be going through them and into your system. So we've kind of discussed what is and is not allowed into a septic tank before, but just as a brief rundown, human waste, toilet paper, that's it. If it's not one of those two things, it does not belong going down your toilet. This includes things like flushable wipes, tampons, condoms, cigarette butts, rubber ducks. All those sorts of things can go down your toilet and they can cause problems. But when it comes to the garbage disposal, what are you most commonly putting down there? Pasta, lettuce, all your food particulates. All that stuff is heavy debris that's not been broken down by our bellies. The human digestive tract is very, very efficient. And so as we consume the food, it goes into our belly and the bacteria will continue to break it down. And it makes it really small, right? And then with that small solid particulates, it'll go to the tank with the bacteria to where it'll continue to break down further. In a garbage disposal, it is just physically ripping up all that debris. So sometimes it'll rip it up really tiny, sometimes it'll rip it up a little bit big. It's going to be in between depending on what type of garbage disposal you purchased. Now, the big rules that you have to know when it comes to septic, like we just talked, is human waste, toilet paper, that's it. Those rules also apply for public sewer. The difference, though, is people on public sewer, more often than not, don't really care about those rules. And the reason why is once you cause a clog, whether let's just say you put a whole pot of spaghetti down your garbage disposal and it's just a whole bunch of gunk that binds up in the pipes, causes a clog. Well, you call your plumber out, he snakes the line. Cool, he just pushed all that junk to the main water or main sewer line in the road, and then it'll take its way out into the municipal. Now, the problem is that the municipal still has to deal with all that debris. But once you push it to the road, it is no longer the homeowner's problem. That's where septic is different. So let's just say we have that exact same sample where the person puts a whole bunch of spaghetti into the garbage disposal and they get a clog. Well, the plumber comes and he pushes that debris out to the tank. Now, the tank's going to capture all that stuff and solids. So the solid level in the tank is going to increase more than if you were just using toilet paper and human waste. Remember, the name of the game when it comes to a septic system, solids stay in the tank, the drain fields deal with the liquids. But you have to make sure you pump the tank out regularly. With normal usage, it's going to be every couple of years. However, if you're adding more debris than what you're producing naturally through a garbage disposal, you really need to increase your pumping span. You might be asking, what do I mean by that? So if you have an average family of 4, our state guidance is usually you want to pump your tank every 2 to 3 years, no more than 5, right? And the reason for that is the debris will build up, and no matter how well you take care of the system, a little bit of those solids from that septic tank are going to work its way into the drain fields. We refer to that as biomat. It'll get in there and kind of mess everything up and shorten the lifespan of your drain fields, and drain fields are expensive, so we don't want to do that. So much so with not wanting to do this that even the counties, some of them, are actually giving homeowners rebates. So like you'll pump your tank for $350, the county will send you a $50 or $100 check, depending on what county you're in, just to get you to pump the stupid things. That way you have less failures and they have less sewage just going wherever. So if you have a garbage disposal on septic, you get your clog, plumber comes, pushes all that junk to the tank. Well, now the solid level is going to build up higher and faster, and so now you're going to have more junk going into the drain fields, which can exponentially increase the failure rate of your trenches. So even though if you only use a little bit here or there, is it the end of the world? No. But long-term use, doing the wrong things will cause problems. Most people that have public sewer don't really care about stuff like that. And I'm just making a generalization based off of the people that I have come across in my experience. If you have public sewer and you're not doing that, cool. It's fine. You're different. You're like a small percentage of people who are not doing that. But you'll get those people who come from public sewer, where they just flush whatever. They move to septic and they think the rules are the same when it's really not. So now this begs the question, if you have a garbage disposal, what can you use it for? In my opinion, if you have a garbage disposal on your septic system, it's fine, right? But you want to use it just really to clear the drain. So you know how when you're doing dishes, every now and again the water level will kind of build up a little bit. That's normal, perfectly fine. Everybody has that problem. So all you do is just flip it on for a second or two, clear whatever's plugging up the pipe, turn it off. That's the extent. Anything else, if you're running it for 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds, you should not be putting any of that down your drain. All that stuff should be going into the trash can, right? A garbage disposal, I'm not entirely sure why everybody uses it that way, but you're not supposed to do that even on public sewer. It's not a good idea. You will clog up your pipes, and that's why everybody always makes those memes about people on Thanksgiving and Christmas having the plumber's payday because you're making mistakes by putting potato peels and all sorts of other junk down your sewer. In my opinion, there's no real big difference between the garbage disposal brands. Yeah, there are some that say they're septic safe. Yeah, there are some that say that they put bacterial stimulants into it that help propagate the bacteria, kind of like an enzyme acting as if it was your belly, sending that debris into the tank. I don't know. I've seen thousands of houses that have them, and in my opinion, they're all basically the same. Most homeowners don't run into problems with it beyond the additional amount of solids. But again, how you compensate for that is you just pump the tank out more regularly. If you're pumping the tank out more regularly, this is really something that you shouldn't have to worry about. I don't really care if people have garbage disposals on their house. As long as they're mindful of what they're putting down there, usually nobody runs into any problems. Now, I will say, in some counties of our state, you need to be very careful with installing them. Some counties will actually make you pull a permit to install a garbage disposal. Believe it or not, with that permit, they'll actually make you increase the amount of drain field that you have for your house. For example, Howard County, if you want to put a garbage disposal in your property, they will make you extend the drain field. So a $200 garbage disposal could cost you $4,000 to $5,000 if you do everything the correct way. That's assuming that you're doing things the correct way, because almost nobody pulls permits for these. The only time I'll really see that on the permit is for new construction, new builds, because they have to. Not saying that you shouldn't pull a permit, but a bunch of counties will require permits for literally everything. So it's a good idea to make sure that you check your local municipal, see what their rules are, see what their permit procedures are, see what you're required to do before you go and slap one in, because now that Maryland regulates these inspections, there may come a time that they start to get way more aggressive on enforcement for that, and they might actually make people start ripping them out or extending the drain fields. That's not happening right now. That's not a thing that's going on right now, but the rules came into effect in 2021 for the regulation. The board was impaneled in 2023, so now things are going to start getting a little bit more interesting as the board starts to come up with more of their rules, their requirements, and what do they want to see in these regulated inspections. I'm hoping with the regulated inspections that the rule book is going to be very clear-cut and very specific, just like the old rules are, where it says, hey, if you have this, this is unacceptable. If you have that, it is acceptable. XYZ, it'll tell you kind of what's going on. Right now, that doesn't exist. Maybe in the next 6 to 12 months, we'll have something on that. Whenever it comes down the pipe, I'll go ahead and make a video for it so I can keep you up to date. As always, though, if you gained any value out of this, or if you found this informative in any way, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I have more videos posted every day on the world of well and septic. If there's maybe a specific topic or anything of interest that you want me to cover, go ahead, leave a comment below. I always try to interact with them as best I can. Sometimes it's harder, and sometimes I don't actually get notifications. But I have a video posted every day for you guys, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.